Okay, guys, sorry it's been so long, but I made it. I was going to write this earlier, but I've had like 5 8-hour days in a row, so this is like my first chance I've got. Also, I may have started this morning at like 8, writing a cool intro, and then I may have written it on to like 11, which my intro turned into like a 13-word short story, which turned out to be trash. So yeah, a lot of my writing gusto, so to speak, may be saved from that writing fail, but who knows? Maybe I'll have a second wind. We'll see. So on to what's happening. And yeah, as always, consecutive order is a luxury. So let's see, what's up at work? Well, goodish news. I'm checking again. I say goodish because in order for me to gain my checking privileges, I had to be really, really boring. Seriously, someone walks up and this is what I say. How's your day going? Them. Good. How's yours? Me. Satisfactory. Such a me thing to say. Got any plans this week? Them. Nope. How about you? Me. Nope. And that's it! Granted, there are times when people actually say yes to the plans question, but that's like about as little variation as you get in this job. I mean, I've had good conversations branching out of that sometimes, but they are few and far between, and also very shallow. But, and don't tell my managers this, recently I have snuck in a few deep questions. Very selectively, I'll ask certain customers about deeper stuff. And so far, I haven't been murdered, because I make sure to ask the people who won't complain. Technically, it's only wrong if they complain. So yeah. But when I say a few, I mean like 5 total. That's how few. Anyway, I've had a few interesting experiences, and let me tell you about those. First, scratches the back of his head, and most unpleasant, I may have angered my coworker. You see, there's this guy, we'll name him the Grumpy Guy, or TGG for short. And earlier I was bagging for him and talking with one of my coworkers while I was doing it, and he was like, "Can we focus on the task at hand and not talk?" To which I replied, "Well, I can work just as fast as when I talk." Granted, probably not the best reply considering he was grumpy. It was like 70. So, I could have been a bit more respectful, but, I said it in quite a, I'm completely innocent tone. Besides, it's true. I can bag just as fast. And think of how deadly work would be if we couldn't talk at all. Anyway, he didn't like that so much, so later he was waiting for a customer, and I came to talk to him. Disclaimer, I'm really bad at reading emotional states, or being anything other than brutally honest. It's not really my specialty. So yeah, I came up to bag for him, and this is how our conversation went. Me, hey, can I ask you a question? GG. I have an answer. Me, are you always grumpy, or do you just seem grumpy? At this point, I had to leave because I came back a bit later. Wow, this is so bad. Me, so are you TGG? Alex, you gets control of himself. That's a very irritating question. I don't need to answer stupid questions like that. And then I left, quickly. So yeah, rubs hand down face. I mean, I see how that was a stupid question now, but then it was just this is how I imagined the conversation would go. Me, can I ask you a question? TGG, I think I have an answer. Are you always grumpy or do you just seem grumpy? TGG, no, I'm just tired, or something along those lines. Hence, I resolved the misunderstanding and everything's good. But yeah, I didn't really imagine how that would play out if he actually was grumpy. Anyway, that was lame because I actually, made a mistake, even though I meant no ill intent. And we haven't been on speaking terms for the past week or so, until just recently. But even then, I mostly just try and shut up and stay out of his way. So yeah, that was the less pleasant experience I had during my last live deal at work. I think he complained to my boss, but I haven't been fired yet. So I'm hoping, everything's good. Also, I said I'm sorry to him like 4 days later. So I don't know what I could have done, but I did what I can. Also, I realized I need to, work on my tact if I want to not die. Let's see. Other than that, I'm on good terms with all my other coworkers. One guy that was nice left, so that's sad. And I'm also talking to a naturalist at work about consciousness. He thinks our brain is just a biological AI and there's no need for a mind to have consciousness if we experience it. There are things there's no proof to argue otherwise, but as he's an evidentialist, even if he doesn't know he's one, the only thing that counts as proof is material science. Basically, there's no way I can win unless I prove evidentialism is wrong, and I'll be honest, that might be pretty hard. We'll see. So that's been challenging, but good nonetheless. What else? I started playing my big boss in chess. Apparently, he's like the second best in his school. And he's pretty good, but I'm up a bishop, so I think I'll win the game. We've got like a lunch period to play so far, so he's mostly just been busy, but I hope we can finish that soon. I've had a horde of kids attack me while I was checking. Okay, they didn't attack me per se. There were 3 of them, and they all wanted to quote unquote help, and laughs nervously. And you know how kids are that are like 5? Yeah, they help when they climb on me. So yeah, helping looked like one climbing on my check stand and pushing things while it beeped, and the other 2 handed me things on the cart. And I'll be honest, it was the furthest thing from helpful. The 2 little kids just put so many things in front of me, I couldn't check, and the other kid was practically throwing everything. I'm amazed nothing broke. On top of that, this mom brought like 2 cartloads of groceries, about $700 worth to be exact. So yeah, I had both my biggest and hardest order at that point. But, it was also the funnest, I'll be honest. When you check with boring people for 8 hours a day, you don't mind being smothered by a herd of energetic kids every once in a while. So yeah, that made my day, even though it was really hard. What else happened? I scratched a car with my cart. That was not fun. But it turned out that it was an employee's car rather than a shopper, and she was super cool about it. So wipes his sweat with his brow, which I'm really thankful for. The big thing that happened was I went to a party with one of my coworkers hosted. You raise an eyebrow. Alex, you went to a party. Are you feeling okay? Actually, more than went to a party. I got invited to a party. You gasp. Who are you, and what have you done with the real Alex? Believe it or not, I'm quite popular at work. I mean, I've worked very hard to be friendly and extroverted and ask people about their lives. And it's almost fun sometimes. The extrovert part, I mean. The asking people is basically always fun. So yeah, if you knew me at work, it would not be a stretch to mistake me for, quote-unquote, fun. Anyway, the point is, I went and consequently destroyed all my images of being fun anyone might have had of me. Seriously, I just sat there and basically said nothing. I mean, the problem was they weren't doing anything that was, interesting. They were just socializing. Gags. How dare you speak the hated word? And even worse, all they could talk about was small talk, sex, gossip, etc. Seriously, I was practically nothing. I stayed for like 3 hours. I know, I deserve an award for staying that long. And at the end of it, I was very far from cool. But, and here's the upside, I didn't let this opportunity to study a sexual culture go to waste. And while I'll most likely never be invited to a party again, I did learn something I hadn't known previously. It's cool to not be cool. Now, read that sentence and tell me it makes any sense. Seriously, it was cool, or at the very least socially acceptable, to not have a life, to be depressed, or to have a trash romantic life. Seriously, it's like they were competing over which one of them was the best loser. One person would be like, I cried before I came here. The next person would be like, well, I don't have any friends. Seriously, so weird. So, is this what it's like everywhere, or am I just seeing a particular section of society? Has anyone got any insight on this? Because I would love to hear it. Okay, other than work stuff, here's the church stuff that happened. So, Life Group has now ended, but before it ended, well, not much happened. The only thing of significance was they went through the end of the year party, which was mildly fun. I mean, it was far from being better. It was better than the game night, shivers the memory. But anything would be worse than, anything could be worse than the game night. But it was still awkward because, everyone's a feeler and all that. Thankfully, the female ENTJ I mentioned earlier talked to me, so that was cool. But apparently she's leaving, so that's pretty sad. I did enjoy talking to her quite a bit. And then I got to play some indoor soccer with a tiny ball, cuffs, I dominated. And I played core and toss, that game where you toss a beanbag onto the platforms with holes. Yeah, I less dominated. Plus we played this zombie tag thing. Everyone who gets tags becomes a tagger. You know how that works. And I was one of 5 people that survived. And then my prize was nothing, so that was lame. But overall, it was an okay time. I did have fun at various points, and I got free pizza and soda, so that almost made it worth it in and of itself. Also, I talked to Awkward Girl, and she's doing fine, as far as I can tell. But what do I know, right? And then I drove home. Life Group should be starting up again through the summer, but the big problem is if it's the same Life Group. Oh, it's the same time as Youth Group. So yeah, I'm probably going to have to cut out Youth Group, which is sad. Speaking of Youth Group, the first Youth Group was horrible. We did this thing where we had to find ingredients, make a pancake, and present it before the judges. Talk about a horrible combo, right? So yeah, my team did, horrible, and I was not such a fan of the whole activity. But Grace loved it, and I'm guessing, it was more of a feeler-friendly activity, and that's why. The next youth group, the apologist lady's husband came, and holy cow, that guy is smart. I may have challenged him with my whole and free will argument and got totally wrecked. If the size of our brains was the size of our bodies, I would be David and he would be Goliath. Oh, and God was not on my side. I think he was helping Goliath out, so tell me how that's fair. Needless to say, I was quite humbled, and hence have pledged to change my thinking accordingly. Not saying that free will exists, though I'm now far more open to the possibility. Just saying I'll try and be less arrogant. So yeah, I wrote a paper on being humbled. You can read it if you want, but you're going to have to ask. And I mean, I just hate being wrong in general. So being wrong about the entire way I approach reasoning, yeah, I'd rather not proclaim that from the rooftops. And then, the last youth group, yeah, that was pretty boring. But I did eat 4 donuts, and I tied Ben in chess. That's the guy that always beats me, so I think it was quite the achievement. Oh, the other churchy things I've been doing is working on my evolution versus creation paper, and that's a very big and very hard topic. So far, I've been reading only creationist arguments, and if I should get to the other side, well, I should do some pretty soon here. I also had a talk with Hal, the Pauline Revelation guy, which was a bit more convincing than I like. Turns out he's what's called a dispensationalist, and we're all covenant theists. It's like a huge debate. Almost everyone. Oh, almost on the Arminianism versus Calvinism scale. And I don't need another big topic right now. I have too much stuff going anyway. So yeah, that happened, and I'll just add that to my list. And I think that's about all it is on the spiritual side. Now on to life in general. Let's see. I found $200 in the basement I didn't know I'd lost. That was great. Apparently, when I turned 16, my parents gave me $100, and then my life savings at the time was $100, so I had, given it for them to hang on to so I wouldn't lose it. Surprise to me. I've started studying for the Acupacer test for the entrance into CEC, Colorado Early College. Remember, college means university here. And what else? I got a prototype of my 3D printed phone. I had to make some minor adjustments. It's a little bit off, but here's the pic. I know I haven't sent you guys any pictures in ages. But yeah, once the phone is right, I'll start working on the case. I think I'll be able to go to Greeley Tuesday. Oh, right. I need to tell you about Greeley. So I am so excited because I was meeting with this guy who's less than 10% helpful. I found this free makerspace in Greeley. Not sure what you know, if you know what that means, but it basically means I can 3D print as much as I want for free. You have no idea how psyched I am about that. Plus, there's lots of other stuff there as well. The only downside is it's pretty far away, like a 45-minute drive, and it costs me like $5 in gas every time I try to go there. Still, I'm super excited because I haven't been able to print in so long. I tried to in New Zealand, and a certain person I know offered me to let me use a printer, but then he forgot so many times I just gave up. Glares at said person. Still, thanks for offering, even if you forgot every time. Anyway, super excited about that. Other than that, I've been talking to some of you guys recently, which has been fun, and mostly just chilling. I've done a tiny pinches his fingers bit of video games because there's this guy at work who plays Splixio. No one else plays Splixio, and it's such a simple game I can just listen to stuff while playing. And anything else. I saw a really old friend at the Dollar Tree randomly. Like, I knew him in 3rd grade, and he's going to CC, so that's cool. I mean, it was a bit awkward, but I'm still glad I saw him. Oh, and a kid named Mitch started going to Life Group, and he's one of my friends from freshman year before I came to New Zealand. Yeah, we were on the same wrestling team and the same friend group. I would say friend, but it would be a bit of a stretch, more like an acquaintance. So we'll see how that goes. Meeting back up with him. I went on a really long road with Grace. It was exhausting. And Bo, if you remembered him, is headed back to New Zealand. But before he left, me and Ben took him out to laser tag. Have you ever played laser tag? Like, seriously, so much fun. Turns out I've got my pro skills still. Because before I left New Zealand, I won like 16 games in a row. Which is really hard to do in case you don't know. And I won both times I played normally. Blows laser smoke off his gun. So yeah, that's right. I'm awesome. But it turns out I'm not awesome if I don't use my winning strategy, aka spam the trigger. Because when we did accuracy round, I failed. But hey, when you have unlimited ammo, who needs to be accurate, right? Besides, if I can win every time by spamming, I might as well do it. And now I think that's everything. Thanks for reading. I'll get back to you soon. And if you find time, be sure to update me on what's going on in your life.